Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for the Grow Your Business Smarter, Live Your Optimal Life TV show. Hi, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Dr. Davia Shepherd. In addition to hosting this amazing TV show, I also host an outstanding group of women called Ladies Power Lunch. For those of you who don't know Ladies Power Lunch, here's the deal. Ladies Power Lunch is a place where women in business, we're talking all sorts of women in business, women in small business, big business, women in brick and mortar, women who work online, women who might have been very experienced in business, women who might be newer at it. We even have some of our women who are retired and they join us kind of in a mentorship capacity. But what stands out about these outstanding women is that they've decided that nobody needs to recreate the wheel. If there's something you're struggling with in your business, there's somebody who's already done that, somebody who has had that experience and knows exactly the steps that you need to take your business to the next level. And so the Women and Ladies Power Lunch, they're there waiting to support you in your business and to be supported by you. So I invite you, if you're not already a member of our community, come join us. It's super easy and it's also 100% free. Just go to growsmarter.com/login. There, you're going to find things like the login for our monthly networking meeting. You're going to find information from other members who have shared their gifts and talents with us over the years. You're going to find also how to join us in our very engaged Facebook community. So come join us, growsmarter.com/login. Okay, that's enough about me, folks. On with this show. I would love to introduce to you somebody who is so dear to me. Her name is Linda Albright, and she is here to share today with us about something that I think some of us might be a little nervous about. We're going to be talking today, everybody, about AI. So let's welcome Linda. Linda, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you. So happy to be here.
So happy to have you. So, Linda, will you share with everybody, just give us a little background about who you are and tell us a little bit about the amazing things that you are doing in the world?
Thank you. So Linda Albright here, as I've known Dr. Davia for quite some time. As she knows, I am passionate about helping women succeed, however that looks. For 10 years, I ran something called the Women's Wealth Revolution, which was a coaching and training company designed to help women entrepreneurs grow their businesses and make more money, because we all know that when women make more money, the world improves, hands down, right? So I have a background in starting companies, building companies, selling companies, and I thought, let me bring it to women. So that's sort of my the core of who I am. As Dr. Devia knows, I veered off that path a little bit post-COVID and got into more corporate consulting, which was mostly men whom I love. But then I realized I really miss women, and women really need this to get comfortable with this whole AI thing, because it is like having something in your back pocket, a secret in your back pocket, or as we say, a secret genius in your basement that you can use to really propel what you're doing. But most people have this like feeling around it. So I'm here to like melt that and really just continue to empower women. Thank you.
So, Linda, I mean, you're working helping women in business to use AI to grow their businesses. But how does one even decide that this is a career path? How did you decide to get into this area?
Like, what? Right. So I've always had this weird fascination with what's called disruptive technologies. So way back early in my career, something called Web 1 came onto the scene, and I jumped onto it. And that was when the beginning of the dot-com era. So we launched a revolutionary thing called the dot-com and an e-commerce site, and then we sold that. But I could tell that tech was coming down the pike and it was going to upend what we were used to doing. And then this thing
Mhm.
called Web 2 showed up, which is what we're living in now, which is social media, basically, and internet marketing. And I hopped on that bandwagon because I could see that's going to upend the way we live and do things. And here we are in what's called Web 3, which I jumped on that bandwagon a couple of years ago. And that's like blockchain and crypto and all of those confusing things. And I got involved in that, but then I saw AI. And to be honest with you, I feel like AI is going to put to shame Web 1, Web 2, Web 3 in terms of how it's going to change our lives and upend our lives in good ways and maybe not so good ways if we're not careful. So I've always been wired this way. And then I also feel like it's my job to spread the news with those who deserve to hear it and be guided with it. So that's just like 25 years and, 2 minutes.
Yeah. How did you decide that you were going to be a woman in tech? Because when we think about, I mean, you're just coming from corporate and you're recognizing that your environment was very male dominated. How did you back in the day decide, you know what, I'm going to be a woman in tech?
Well, I think, as you know, most decisions you just sort of bumble. Well, most of my decisions I bumble into. It's not like I wake up and go, I'm doing this today. But if we go way back when I
Hmm.
was pregnant with my first child, who's now 25, and I was pregnant, 5 months pregnant with her. I was hiding the fact that I was pregnant because I was standing in front of an investment panel of people who we were asking for money to start our business. And so we got the money, we launched the business, but I launched the business the same 2 weeks that I birthed my baby, my first baby. So I launched a business and the baby in the first 2 weeks. This is a long round answer, but I'm going to answer your question. So I had already been interested in tech, and then I became a mother. And it's like, wait a minute, how do I do this? Like, I launched a baby in a business the same 2 weeks. I lost my mind. And I was like, there's got to be a better way for women to be successful in business or tech and be good mothers and wives or whatever. And so that launched me into what I'm doing now. So which was women can have it all, sometimes not at the same time. And we each have our own specific formula for figuring out is it, whatever it is we want in our lives. So that's how I stumbled into I don't have to give up tech. It's just in my wiring, but I don't have to give up motherhood and womanhood. And so there's a way to, in the divine feminine, there's a path we can find where we can do that. But I will agree with you. I was at an AI meetup last night. I'm counting the women in the room, 50 people in the room. There's less than 10 of us. So, and here's why I'm passionate about it is because right now, technology is what's going to make you more successful. And if you
Hmm.
don't adopt AI, there's two kinds of businesses, those that adopt AI and thrive, and those that don't and die. And I hate to be that dramatic, but it's true. So I'm here to soften it. I'm also a certified yoga instructor as well as a certified
Yes, you
AI
are.
consultant. So I blend, the feminine with the masculine. I soften the tech so that because ladies, this is our chance. This is our chance. With this technology, you can finally get ahead in ways you've always known you deserved, but haven't made it yet. So I have no idea if I answered your question.
You've answered my question, and I love the story about birthing your company and your baby at the same time. These are, folks, these are the things that are happening to every single one of us. Because I'm sure I know I can relate to this. I was starting here in our practice, first time in private practice in my life, and also just had a baby. And finding out that, oh yeah, you don't just hang your shingle, my friend, and hope that folks are going to stroll on in. There is more work to be done. And my
Yeah.
baby was not sleeping through the night. He did
No,
not
neither was mine.
until he was 18 months old. And so I was all night long hanging out with my baby. And I would not change that for anything because I got to spend that time. And then I was all day long, all night with the baby, all day with my beautiful, amazing patient. So I get it, Linda.
A
I
lot.
know what you're
Yeah.
talking about. Like you're just doing all the things, and sometimes that's how life shows up for you. So
Ugh.
people are watching along and they're kind of leaning in a little bit because they heard you're a yoga instructor and they're thinking, okay, if she's on this AI train, it can't be as bad as we think. Give us some definitions. Like when we're talking about AI, we're starting to think about machines taking over the world. Well, we've watched way too much sci-fi and we are now basically quaking in our boots. Give us some definitions. When we talk about AI that's supporting our businesses, what are we talking about?
Okay, great. So, and I am not going to say that there's no threat with AI. I think that's a script that hasn't been completed yet. So I think the more that conscious, good people adopt AI, the better off we will all be. So that's just sort of a general statement. But here's the thing: what I tell business owners is, where is your business hard? Because wherever it's hard, there's a tool or a system that uses AI that can make it easier. So for example, a lot of the women that I work with struggle with, lead generation, sales, marketing. Those are usually the stumbling blocks. And so why not use something, learn about a tool or a system that can just make that so much quicker. For example, a lot of us have been in the online coaching world and we put out social media posts or we have to put out, webinars and all kinds of marketing materials. And what used to take a week or 2 weeks can now take half a day, if not a few hours. Can you imagine what you can do at that time? The stats show that using the right systems with AI behind it can help you grow 37% faster. You do the math, that's like 1.5 days a week or something. Imagine what you could do with it. So yes, AI can be scary, but what will that free you up to do? Maybe spend more time with your kids, maybe get to that yoga class, maybe grow your business more, like whatever it is. And so AI can be scary, but it also is that could be a freedom tool to free you up and to not work so hard. This is work smarter, not harder. I'm all about work less and make more. Let's just do that, right? So there's, you can pull a tool off the shelf like ChatGPT and really learn how to use it. You can pull a couple different workflows and make your email smoother. You can do, there's all kinds of things you can do. You can, for example, I was working with a huge AI company. I was inside helping them do stuff. And before I got that gig, I wanted to provide them with a sample of what I could do. And all I did, swear to whatever you want to swear to, I pulled a blog post they had on their website. I tossed it into a tool. Within 10 minutes, it spit out a video that was really impressive. And it took 10 minutes because it took me 5 minutes to learn the tool. And it took 5 minutes for the tool to do its job.
I
I
love
sent that
it.
off to them and then I got the gig. It was incredible. So that's what I'm talking about. Like, why not make it easier? So, and yes, there's a learning curve, but it's not as hard as you think. If you can use this, you can use an AI tool.
And most of us are not far away from our dear beloved
Never.
devices. So
Even though it's frying our brains and whatever else, but that's a
yes,
different
yes, yes.
conversation.
All those things are happening, and we still hold them very close. They're probably the first things that greet us in the morning and the last thing that says goodbye
If you
to us.
keep it in your room, which I advise not doing, I
It's
sleep so
not a
much
good
better when it's not in my
idea.
room. Yeah.
It's a bad idea.
Yeah.
I love it. So, Linda, the people that we're talking to right now are primarily women in business, women who own their own business, might be small business, might be larger business. Some of the women who are listening along, they might own nonprofits. Some of the women who are watching along with us, they might also be in corporate positions of leadership. If you could give us, let's throw out a number here, like 5 tips, some do's and don'ts when it comes to injecting AI into our businesses. What would those suggestions be?
Do's and don'ts would be do be open and don't be scared, right? So we just talked about that because this can be your friend. Like I said, it can be the secret genius in the basement. Um, I would suggest if you're not somebody who is comfortable just kind of figuring out tech, then do ask for help. You know us women, we actually feel like we can do it ourselves. Don't do it yourself. Just ask for help from anybody you know. Somebody in your son, your friend, or me, or Dr. V, like whoever it is, ask for help.
Your 9-year-old?
Exactly. Um, do think about where you're stuck or what's taking too long or what's frustrating you or what's not in your zone of genius, as we say, and get curious about how could this be easier, right? Um, those are very general in term. I mean, I can get more specific about how to use this tool or don't do that on this tool, but it's really more of an attitude and an approach. And don't be scared of it. And recognize that when you just take a step into AI a little bit further, you are going to be further ahead than 95% of the people out there, which means your business is going to be further ahead than 90% of the people out there. I often say the stat of 50% of businesses are looking at AI. So if you're not looking at AI, they are. So at least look at it, but look at it from a problem solution standpoint. So those are the generalities.
So tell me a story, Linda, about a company or a person who was struggling with something in her business and used AI to make it better and what sort of results she
Yeah.
saw on the other
Yeah.
side of that. Or
Yeah.
he.
So a recent example is a wonderful woman who owns a wellness center, and she's new at this. And we were working together to try and figure out how to boost her business. And we wanted comps for I wanted to know what is the market doing and what's the market doing because we need to know where she put to position herself. Now, normally that would take the old world that would take either Google searching or phone calls or whatever. If you know how to use a certain tool, you can within an hour get a chart. We did get a chart and a spreadsheet of all your competitors all your friends, you're in whatever geography you want, worldwide, local, and ask and get a chart of all the comps that you so that you can decide, not willy-nilly out of the air, you can decide, oh, that's what I'm going to charge per square foot for what I'm doing, or per, and so with, I don't want to reveal too much, but so within just so quickly, we were able to get the data we need to make the right decisions so she can double her income next year, which she will, because before she was just pulling numbers out of the air. And now
Mhm.
she has a solid test case to, if anybody should question her, she knows exactly why she's pricing. Because, pricing for many women is like,
Pricing
I
is
don't know,
hard.
I'm going to make it up. So use a tool that's going to like search and collate all that information for you. So that's one. The other one that I mentioned is many, many people who I've worked with have spent just hours and hours in content creation, right? So you're making your social posts and you're shooting your videos and you're doing your email copy and you're writing a blog. Well, guess what? What if, and I have this on my website, what if you had a tool that can do all of that? You can upload all of your information so it gets to know your personality. It doesn't sound like AI when it spits out information or writes things for you. It can write a blog post once a week and tell you to just come approve it. It can write your social posts and you just go approve it. And it sounds like you. And I have saved myself days, because I don't know about you, but writing is an intensive process. Um,
Mhm, mhm.
and so if you save me 4 days of, and I don't mean I'm sitting there writing for 4 days, but you know how it is. Every day you're like, oh, I got to get back to that. I got to get back to that. So it's not just the time you're working, it's the time you're thinking about, oh, I got to get back to that. And so what that does is it brings in more leads more easily, you make more money. And so this is what, and everyone's new to AI. So I'm new as well, but I'm older than most people I'm talking to. So I have seen my email list grow by 50%. I've seen real high quality leads come through instead of throwing spaghetti on the wall. The tools you can
Mhm.
use will go bring in the right people by pre-qualifying. So that's one. And then the final example I'll give you is I was helping a gentleman over in Europe bring his product to the States. And this is phenomenal. The reason he can bring it to the States is because there are tools that will automatically translate the videos, the live videos from
Mhm.
French to English, and it looks
Nice.
seamless. You would have no idea that he's not speaking English. And so
Mhm.
now he's got the entire American audience as potential clients. And that was phenomenal. And that takes a day to translate and sort of tweak things. So it's just incredible. It's like
So,
it's kind
I
of
mean,
magic, you know?
it sounds like there's so many different areas
Yeah.
where AI can be helpful. So I'd like for you to share who are the ideal people that, if they're listening into this and they're kind of leaning in, that you think would benefit by reaching out to you. Who are the ideal kinds of people that you help?
Anybody who is not afraid of tech or not afraid of trying new things,
Mhm.
anyone who's serious about building a business, no, and that's not a slight, but some people it's more of a hobby, and that's fine. So
Mhm.
if you're serious about building your business and you seriously want to grow your income, you don't have to be an entrepreneur or a business owner, but those things. Then it's a fit. There's nobody for whom it won't work. It's just if the person is not really open to it and is too not quite ready for it. So if you feel like you're ready to learn something new that will transform and you're serious about building a business, then there's no reason not to try. And if you're competitive, then you're really going to dig this stuff because it will give you the competitive edge. You'll outsmart your competitors. You just will. So,
If you could, I ask everybody who comes on the show this question. If you could wrap your arms around us, Linda, and just
mm,
share one piece of advice, one thing that you've noticed that so many of us are not doing the right way when it comes to AI in our business, what would that one thing be? Like, if we don't remember any of the other things that you said today, what's that one takeaway you'd love for us to have?
you can do it. It's if I can do it, you can do it. I'm actually not a techie, but you can do it. If you can do this phone, you can do AI. Simple as that. You don't have to be super smart. You don't have to be a tech whiz. Just have to be willing. And then there are no code options. Like you don't have to be a coder. You can do it.
You can do it. I like for people to be able to come on the show and leave with something tangible, something that they can take away from the show and go implement in their lives and in their business. Can you give us a piece of AI homework? that we could just go try?
Yeah.
Something
Yeah.
easy.
And I don't know the level of the audience, if people are brand new to it or if they've been playing around a little bit. So number one, if you haven't been on ChatGPT, just go try ChatGPT. You don't even have to
Mhm.
have a paid subscription. Number two, you can upload something you've written, PDF, a book, an email. You can upload it, and it can get to know you. So you can form a relationship with it. So it starts to hear your voice and it starts to know you, and then start playing. You know, um, start playing with it. And the second, or give it a problem to solve. Like, we don't think to ask for help because we're women. We don't think to ask for help. So if you're challenged with what am I going to say? What am I going to write? How am I going to approach this conversation? Whatever it is you're stuck with, ask it. Ask it. And then keep talking to it. I actually have a brilliant healer friend who was terrified of AI. And I know we have to wrap up, who's terrified of AI. And I gave her an assignment. And she has turned this AI into sort of a spiritual counselor because her AI knows her so well with all of the books that she's written, all of the videos she's produced, she's uploaded it all. It can now counsel her and say and provide information she didn't even know was available. It is phenomenal. So just treat it like it's an assistant. Treat it like it's a secret genius, and don't be afraid. And get creative. Like, realize you don't have to do this alone. You really don't. And I know that all sounds very weird. But, it's possible.
I'm looking forward, Linda, to having you on our upcoming panel for women in business, where we're going to bring a few experts together and we're going to talk about how we can make 2025 different. Because every year we say, oh, we're going to grow our businesses, but what would happen if we really were able to make our businesses different in 2025 and make it the business that we dream of having? And so I'm looking forward to having you on that panel so women will
Yes.
have a chance to pop in and actually ask you questions. So that'll be great. But in the meantime, how can folks connect with you?
Yes, thank you. So you can either email me or hit my website. So my email is simply linda@albrightai.com. So it's my last name.com, or my website is albrightai.com. And so either email directly or on my website, there's a link to my calendar. And I would love to just chat, no charge chat, just to get to know where you're at, what you need. Because this is also research for me to find out where are women blocked, because I want to unblock you so that we can take advantage of this and beat the men. I love the men, but beat the men.
The men are amazing. And what I do know is that the statistics show that for women in business, we're a little bit behind the eight ball. Only 4% of women own businesses from the most recent stats that I've seen on American Express. 4% of women-owned businesses make revenue. We're not talking income, revenue in excess of $1 million. 4% is not a lot of percent. It's just
Not a lot.
not a lot.
No.
So at the end of every show, one of the things I like to do is to just pull a card to give us a nice little thought for the day. And I pulled today from this deck. It's called Divine Abundance by Tosha Silver. I love her so
I
much.
love her too. Her stuff's good.
And this is the card that popped out for us today. It says Divine Source. Help me know that all my deepest needs will be met. Let me trust that you have a plan and the right actions will come. You are my source for all. What's this saying to you in the context of the conversation that we've been having?
That even though there's scary parts about AI, it's all one. It all comes from source. So it
Mm.
can't be evil if it's part of the abundant soup.
It
That's what I hear.
is. I love this. I love it. You know what? Tools are just tools.
Exactly.
That's all they are. I love that. Linda, this has been such an outstanding conversation. I feel like we could talk forever, and I can't wait to have you on our women's panel come January. So, looking forward to that. Thank you for joining us today, everybody. Thank you for tuning in on our Win Win Women platform. Thank you to everybody who's watching us over on YouTube or on social media. We love you all. Come join us. GrowSmarterNotHarder.com/login is where you can come become a part of our community and take advantage of all the events and all the community that we have going on in our little group here, Ladies Power Lunch. Thanks, Linda. Thanks,
Thank
everybody.
you all.
And I'll see you all on the next show. Bye, everyone.